So, and first I want to introduce myself. My name is Alexander Antsipov, and I'm head of API platform. And a few years ago, we had a very good practice. We conduct webinars. Probably some of you know Max Katz. He was the host of these webinars. Now he's working in IBM. And recently we decided to resume this practice, and we are going to conduct webinars once per month, maybe even twice per month. And during these webinars, we will report some news which is going on our platform, and you will be first people who will know about them. Also, we will demonstrate the new features on which we are working, so you will be able to see and to influence on some things which are in development. Of course, we will answer on your questions, and I hope that you will share your application and your experience. And I want to make a small announcement. On the next webinar, one of our API users will demonstrate his application, and he will provide his feedback, what he likes, what he doesn't like in API. So, and actually, rather more topics will be covered during these webinars. And I suggest to start from the news. We have a lot of news. Probably you noticed that we removed beta label from Ionic 4, and now Ionic 4 is production ready, our new visual editor. We spent a lot of time, approximately last 2 years, we worked on it, and I'm sure that right now it's the best visual editor which we have. Also, we add deprecated labels to Ionic 1 and Bootstrap visual editors, and in the next release, which will be in the middle of June, these frameworks will be removed. But don't worry, all applications, Ionic 1 and Bootstrap, will be able for modifications. So you will not be able to create a new application, but you will be able to update already existing ones. Third news, we significantly reducing the price of our API calls. So now if you visit our pricing page, you will notice that number of calls which are included into subscription rather more than it was before, and price of overages was reduced in 10 times. So now on API you can create actually application which is used by a lot of people, thousands or even millions of people. And soon we are going to release 2 new subscriptions. First subscriptions will be for beginners, for people who want to meet with our platform, and it will be very cheap subscription. And second subscription will be rather unique subscription for us, because this subscription will include the hours of help of our service team, sorry. And right now, my main goal is to create an API community. So community, it's a people who not only use our platform, but it's the people who try to improve our platform, people who try to help each other, and together. So it's like a strategic win-to-win. So you help to someone, and someone will help to you. You will help to us to create our product better, and we will create product better, and you will use better project. So in this situation, everyone will win. We want to understand who use our platform, what people use, how they use, what annoys, etc. So this is a platform where people will be able to communicate with each other. So actually we have rather more news, but we are limited in time, and I want to demonstrate Ionic 4. And this is a main topic for today. Before this meeting, when we thought about API community, I tried to find some application where people would be able to propose their idea and vote for another idea. It's like an idea boards. So actually, there are a lot of applications which can do this, but I had specific requirements for this application. Yeah. First, my application should be very simple. Yeah. Should look nice, should be secure, and should be free. And I was sure that it's possible to find such application, but unfortunately, everything what I was able to find look like this. So this is an ideaboards.com. It's free, yeah. It's simple because everyone can go by this URL and add his idea. So let's do it. Let's add our first idea. Yeah. But unfortunately, if I would open this board in incognito mode, I will able to remove it. So anyone can remove idea, so it's absolutely unsecure application, and I can say that this application look nice. And we always faced with similar issue. Yeah, on the one hand, we have to solve some problem, and there is solution which can help us, but it's very difficult to find solution which will meet all our requirements. But on the other hand, it's very, very easy to create this application, yes, and I want to show how can we create such application in API, yeah. And first, let's start from the database, because we have to store our idea somewhere, and API offer database, and it is a good place. So let's create our database with name IdeaDB. And then let's create collection ideas where our ideas will be stored. And then let's create 2 columns. First column will be name. Second column will be description. And also let's add column votes, number of the votes for this idea, the number. And let's create first test ideas. So test 1 with description 1 and with 5 votes. And second, test 2, description 2 with, for example, 2 votes. Okay, we have a place where our idea will be stored. Yeah, and then let's go to our visual editor and create application for working with our ideas. So let's provide the name, idea app. Okay, first what we have to do, we have to add integration with our database. So let's do it. So if you remember, we had several editors. We have jQuery mobile editors, Ionic 1, Bootstrap. Then we had Ionic 3, which is unavailable right now. And only jQuery mobile editor was really no-code editor. And we integrated all no-code features into our new Ionic 4. So I will show it. So first, let's add integration with database. And first service which we need is a list service, which will return the list of our ideas. Okay, service was added, and we have to display our idea on the UI. So we will use a list component for that. So just drag and drop from here. And since we have some array of ideas, we have to remove the second element from the array, because we will iterate through array of list item elements, yeah, and show the ideas. And then we have to add data source. So what is a data source? We add service, and We can even test service from here. Press that button and get response. But this service can be invoked on the different screens, and this service can be mapped on different UIs. So we have to add some data source for every screen where we are going to use this service. So let's add for screen 1, and let's provide the name ideas. Yeah? And then we have to perform the mapping. Probably the most cool feature. So here we see that we have a list of ideas, and we have to map the first item, the one element of array on list item, yeah, and then we have to map the name of idea on text. Last step, we have to say when this data source should be invoked. We can select page component, then select event, so after page showing, and then select action, invoke service, and we have only one service ideas. So save. Now let's test. So I can give you one tip. Usually I prefer not to use our preview screen, and instead of that I press remove frame button and then use mobile view in Google Chrome. It is more convenient than our preview because here we can select different screens for different fonts. It's very convenient. So right now on the screen we see the list of our ideas. So it's so simple to get some data and display on the screen. Then let's a little bit customize our application. Yeah. So first let's remove footer. So just to say that we don't need it, and let's provide toolbar title ideas. Let's also change the background to primary color of Ionic. So just select here primary. Okay, but let's make our application a little bit more nice. And I suggest you to invest more time, more force into design of your application. Of course, the good design is not a guarantee that your application will be a success. But I'm sure almost on 100% that if your application will look unprofessional, it will be fault. Yeah. So now let's add some really nice UI elements. And first elements which I want to add is a nice tab. Nice tab is where is nice tab? No, this is not it. Probably this one. Oh no, this is Geo service. This one. Yeah. So as you saw, I just click one button, yeah, and we added into our application a lot of functionality. We added several screens. Yeah, we added screen. It's a nice step. We added screens profile. We added screens home. And now let's change the default screen from screen 1 to screen nice tab. And now let's test application again. So now we see application with better UI. At least I think that UI is better. But what I don't like in this UI, that this big button is not in the middle. So I prefer to see it in the middle. So I will customize everything what is needed, just to select this element, yeah, and provide class central button from this element to this element, and also let's change on the tabs bar default screen, so it will be, so it is profile, yeah, let's select this profile, but let's select not profile, let's select our screen one and display the list of our nodes. Unfortunately, they were not displayed. Let's take a look what happened. So we have selected screen one, yes. Screen one. Okay, so now we see screen one. The next question, we see the predefined icon, and of course we can change on another icon, which is part of Ionic framework. But I prefer to use custom icon, and we can find a lot of resources where you can find free icons. So let's use float icon resource and find some icon by name idea. Okay, let's use, for example, I don't know what to select. This one. Okay, let's download this again file, and then add into our media manager. And then change this icon. So say that we want to use custom icon, this icon. Okay, we can even refresh it and take a look how our application will look with new icon. So the next, what I suggest you to do, I suggest you to change the color scheme of your application. Of course, the default color schema looks not bad, but it's default color schema, and it means that a lot of applications will have the same colors. So you can again find a lot of resources with good combinations of colors. For example, color hunt co, and here we can, for example, search by trendy. And let's use, for example, these colors. No, not this. This looks. Let's use this. Okay, so we use Ionic 4, and it means that we created something which doesn't break any rules, any behaviors of Ionic 4. So it means that you can use all components and all approaches which suggest Ionic team. And for generating color schema, Ionic created color generator, and we can reuse it. So let's go to our color hunt, copy primary color, then paste it here, then copy secondary color, paste it as secondary color, copy tertiary color, and then we can copy our schema. To apply it to our application, go to themes, variables, and then copy paste. So now we can take a look on our application with custom colors. I can't say that it looks better, yeah, but it looks more unique. Okay, when you have a list of items, the second, what we will want to do, we will want to add new items into our list. So for that, we will use home. We'll use home screen, and let's add two input component. First input component will be for name, and second will be for description and button. Okay. Also, let's add predefined class. And pagination. Full screen. So and then let's provide label name. For description, let's provide description. For button, let's provide text add. Toolbar will be add idea. And also we can add back button in case when we press add idea button, but then decided to not add idea. So just add button and say that it will be back button. And that's it. Next, what we will have to do, we have to add service which will add idea into database. So again, go to create new database service. Select our database and then say that we want to add create service and create data source. Provide name, add idea, and then we have to perform mapping. On the first screen, we perform mapping for success response, but now we have to perform mapping for request. So now we will map UI component on the service request. We have two input elements, and let's map first elements on the name and second element on the description. After adding new idea, let's navigate our users to screen 1. Navigate to page screen 1. Okay. It's strange that we would have to navigate to nice tab. Let's check again. But okay, let's test. Okay, let's go here. This is our screen where we can provide our idea. I forgot to add code for invoking service. So we have to select our button and say that data source should be invoked on the click on this button. So invoke service, specify here, and specify add idea. So and only now we can test. Let's add test tree. Description string. So idea was added and we are navigated to idea screen, but I expected that we would have to navigate to nice tab instead of screen 1. So let's check data source and navigation. So let's refresh. Yeah, so here should be a nice tab. Okay, and let's okay. Let's add idea. Okay, so now we are navigated properly. The next, what I want to do, I want to add security to my application. So if you remember, my application should look nice, yeah, should be simple and should be secure. So only authenticated users should be able to add something into database. And again, for that we can use API plugins. So and actually, I think that plugins is the most powerful mechanism in API. And I hope that you also will create your own plugins and will share with us, and then we'll add them into our platform, and another users will be able to use your plugins. But now let's add a database login and sign up plugin. So add. So we had a duplicate home screen, but let's don't worry about it. Yeah. Because our home screen is right screen. So now let's change default routing to login screen just to take a look how application will looks. Yeah, that's it. We got alert notification, so and it means that we didn't specify database ID, and it's logical because we have several. So let's open our database. Yeah. And you will see that we have several databases. Yeah, and we have to say what name the database we want to use. So let's copy database ID and then specify as a settings. Here, provide database ID. And now let's test again. Okay, we can provide, yeah, we selected bad colors, yeah, for our application, but the button for it. So let's provide some email, press sign in. Oh, of course, we didn't have any users. And first, let's create a new user. So perform sign up operation. Provide first name, second name, email, password, and sign up. Okay, and now let's go to our database. We have predefined collections users in database where all users will be stored with their password. And then this collection is used not only for authentication, but also for secure data. Yeah, and here we see our users. And then in order to change the default behavior, yeah, let's show it full login screen. So after pressing sign in, we have to navigate instead of predefined home button, we have to, or home screen, we have to navigate it to our nice tab. So let's go to the data and change navigation. So specify here nice tab. Actually, the same we had to do for sign up page, because here we were navigated to run screen. So now let's test again, and we will be on the login screen. Okay, let's log in. So and now we are on the screen one. So do you see that we add this functionality just a few minutes? Yeah. So we customize the UI of our application. We added custom images. We created navigation. We created several screens. We added security. We added even such functionality as login sign up, and we did it just for a few minutes. Yeah. Okay, but API provide not only this, API provide rather more. Yeah, so we can easily add, for example, chart to display the votes of our ideas. And let's do it. Let's open our nice tab. Info. Okay, let's open our info screen. And here add our chart component. Here again, we have to invoke list service, idea list service, get the list of ideas and display votes for them. So let's add idea service. Yes, list. Okay. And perform mapping. Okay. So first we have to map our item element on item, and let's map this. So not here. Cancel. Let's map data, and let's name on data. Okay. And also let's specify as a data. So we can specify here some variable. Yeah, but in my case, I specified the service. And last, what we have to do again, we have to invoke event on after page showing. Invoke service, ideas list. Let's log in. We did something wrong. Yeah, let's check what we did wrong. Okay, let's go to our data. Take a look at our mapping. Let's map and name on labels. Doesn't want to remove. Let's delete and add one more mapping. So map first here, and second map and plots here. Yes. Some design page. Page showing. Yeah. So no, unfortunately, we didn't have enough data, yeah, and the chart of our ideas doesn't look nice, yeah. For example, we can change our chart type. So right now we see line chart, but we can change it to bar chart. So let's specify the type, not line, but bar. And let's take a look again. So actually, we didn't see the number of the test2 because we started from 2, yeah, as you see here. So actually, you can customize very easily this chart component, but in general, adding such functionality as a displaying chart is very easy. Yeah, and in the same way, you can add some functionality which can be used on mobile phone. For example, if you need to add barcode scanner or camera integration, everything what is needed just to add corresponding Cordova plugin, and then you can continue use them. Right now, we investigate a lot of our force into artificial intelligence, and soon we will add API plugin for such things as text recognition, text-to-speech, image recognition, object detection, so and rather more. But now let's come back to our presentation, yeah. I hope that now you is able to understand the main mission of API, yeah, because unfortunately, not all people understand what really API is, yeah. So API is a platform, and platform means that API is absolutely enough to create not your mobile application, but your system with data storing, with server-side business logic, and of course with UI. And on UI, we generate not a prototype, we generate not a mockup, we generate a real mobile application, which can be distributed via Google Play Store or Apple Store. And also you can generate progressive web apps or general web application. Creating application is very fast on API. So as you saw, we created, I can't say that it is a rather complicated functionality, but in case if you would use traditional approaches, you would spend rather more time. And it's cheap, so it's actually real cheap because you didn't spend a lot of time, and time is the most expensive our resource. And everyone can create application due to our low-code features and our plugins. So we will add more and more plugins. So for example, there is a plugin for working with Google Map. Let's take a look how it can be easily add. So select Google Map component, not component, plugin, which add corresponding screen. And now let's change on our nice tab. So instead of info, we'll show Google Map. I will just demonstrate how it's easy at such integrations. Mm. Okay, while application is building, yeah, we can continue, and then when it will be ready, yeah, we'll go and check what is generated. This is a slide show an ordinary development process of the product. So first we create some proof of concept. Then based on it, we create a prototype. Based on prototype, we create MVP and then product. But based on my experience, always it's not so straightforward. Usually people create prototype, proof of concept, then they create a prototype, and then they realize that something was wrong, and then they have to make a step back, change something, then go back, create prototype, then MVP, then go back to prototype, and moving fast and back. And when application is ready and is in production, it can be very expensive to continue maintaining this application. So just imagine that you would create application using traditional approach. Application is in production, everything is okay. Users use your application, and at one moment you need to change something. For example, to add some notification in your application, to change the colors, or to add small feature or fix small bug. Using traditional approach, you would have to stand, for example, you will have to run Android Studio, install a lot of software, update the software probably. Something can go wrong, yeah, and so on. But using approach which we offer, yeah, you can do it very easily. So I'm talking about maintenance, first of all. Okay, our application was built, and now let's test our map. We see this message because we use Google Map without proper Google Map key. So it's very easy to get it, but it costs some money. Yeah, and when you would have this key, everything what you will have to do just to specify this API key here, and then this watermark will be removed. But we can test our application with this watermark. Yeah. We can press on the marker, and we can add our own marker. At any place. So yeah. So imagine situation, for example, that you are owner of some stores, yeah, which sell something, and you want to display them on the Google Map, and you want to provide opportunity for your clients to see the address, to see on the map, yeah, to see his location, to calculate the distance. So to edit everything what you have to do just to find your stores on the map and mark them like store 1. Then store the stores in database, and user will see your stores, will see his location, will be able to calculate distance. And again, this functionality you created, so using a few clicks. And now I want to tell a few words about Apiary in general. Usually such presentations or such webinars start with these slides, but I decided a little bit to break the rules and first to demonstrate what is Apiary is, what is opportunity of our Ionic 4, and only then to talk a few words about Apiary. So Apiary rated #1 by Mashable as a low-code platform, and we have more than 500,000 users. We have rather good history, and soon will be 10 years. Before, so probably you will find in internet that before Apiary was called Tigr, then Tigzy, and now the last name is Apiary. So I added this information just not to confuse it, because in internet you can find such information too. And last, what I want to show you, the users of API, we created interactive map. And on this map, we can see our users. So most of all, our users from United States, but a lot of users from Canada, from Brazil, of course, from India. And actually, in whole world, there are just few countries, such as Northern Korea, or this country in Africa, I don't know their names, without API users. So API just almost occupies the whole world. Yeah, and I hope that more and more users will be from the different countries. Yeah, and you is able to become a part of the big API family. Yeah. So on the one hand, you are our users. Yeah, but on the other hand, you're not only users. You're like people who also can participate in creating and improving this platform.